What if rats, the most common animal on Earth, were 1 full meter tall? Not a movie, not a nightmare. A real, scientific, absolutely wild possibility. Let's go. Right now, there are more rats on this planet than there are humans. 1 meter tall. Imagine that number. Imagine that size. The world just changed completely. First, let's talk about what a 1 meter rat actually looks like. The weight alone would be somewhere between 40 and 60 kilograms. That's a medium-sized dog. Their teeth, already capable of chewing through concrete at normal size, would be enormous. We're talking incisors the size of small knives. Self-sharpening, growing constantly, never stopping. Their claws would grip pavement, climb walls, and tear through almost any material known to humans. A 1 meter rat doesn't need a door. It makes its own entrance. Every single time. Their tails alone would stretch over 1 meter long, thick, muscular, and powerful. Used for balance, communication, and temperature regulation. A biological tool that never stops working. Now imagine their speed. Normal rats run at 12 kilometers per hour. Scale that body up, and a 1 meter rat moves at speeds that would make a sprinting human sweat. And their senses. Rats already have hearing and smell that embarrasses every human alive. 1 meter tall, those senses scale up too. They smell you before you open the door. They detect your heartbeat through vibration in the floor. They hear your breathing from 2 rooms away. You cannot sneak up on a 1 meter rat. Ever. Now let's talk about intelligence, because this is where it gets truly terrifying. Rats are already among the most intelligent animals on Earth. Size amplifies everything. Rats solve mazes, feel empathy, communicate in complex patterns, and remember faces forever. A bigger brain means faster learning, better problem solving, and social structures we haven't imagined yet. They would organize, they would assign roles, they would develop something that looks dangerously like strategy. And they would do all of it faster than any human government has ever done anything. Let's talk about cities, because 1 meter rats would absolutely transform urban life overnight. Every city on Earth was built with normal rats already living inside the walls. Now double the size. The subway systems of New York, London, Tokyo, already full of rats right now. 1 meter tall. They wouldn't hide in tunnels. The tunnels would belong to them completely. Sewers, basements, underground parking lots, cable networks, all rat territory immediately. Humans built cities on top of a system that 1 meter rats would simply reclaim as theirs. Food supply would be the first catastrophic crisis to hit every single nation on Earth. 1 meter rats eat proportionally more, and they already consume enough food to starve entire regions. Grain storage facilities worldwide would be compromised within weeks. No wall, no container, no storage system built for normal rats survives contact with the 1 meter version. Supermarkets, restaurants, warehouses, every food supply chain collapses simultaneously. Not because rats attack humans, just because they eat. Constantly, efficiently, inestably, agriculture would face an extinction-level threat within the first growing season. Fields of wheat, corn, and rice. The foundations of human civilization consumed overnight. Now here's the twist that no one sees coming. Rats don't want to fight humans. They want food, shelter, and safety. Same as always. Just at a completely different scale. The real danger isn't aggression, it's competition. 1 meter rats competing for the same resources as 8 billion humans in the same spaces. Let's talk about disease, because this is the chapter nobody wants to open. Rats are already the most efficient disease carriers in the history of this planet. The Black Plague, leptospirosis, hantavirus, rat bite fever, all delivered by normal-sized rats. Scale the animal up, scale the biological threat up with it, proportionally, immediately. 1 meter rats carry more parasites, more bacteria, more viral potential per individual. And they cover more ground, enter more spaces, and contact more surfaces than their smaller ancestors ever could. Public health systems worldwide would be overwhelmed within the first month. Not from bites, from contact. From proximity. From sharing a planet at that scale. But wait, here comes the first massive twist in this story. Humans have been living alongside rats for 10,000 years. And we are extraordinarily adaptable. Within weeks of the size change, pest control industries would transform completely. New traps, new barriers, new technologies, all developed at emergency speed under global pressure. Governments would declare national emergencies. Military resources would be redirected immediately. The entire geopolitical landscape shifts because every nation faces the exact same enemy at the exact same time. For the first time in human history, every country on Earth has the same problem. That shared crisis could force global cooperation on a scale that climate change never managed to produce. Here's another twist. Some cultures would not see 1 meter rats as a threat at all. In parts of India, rats are sacred animals. In many Asian cultures, they represent luck and intelligence. Imagine the philosophical and religious debate that explodes worldwide overnight. Sacred animal or existential threat? The answer depends entirely on where you're standing. Now let's go deeper. What happens to the ecosystem outside of cities? In forests, plains, and wetlands, 1-meter rats would reshape every food chain they enter. Natural predators of rats, owls, hawks, foxes, snakes would face an impossible size mismatch. A 1-meter rat is no longer prey for most predators. It becomes something else entirely in the food chain. Foxes would avoid them. Hawks couldn't lift them, while snakes couldn't constrict them effectively. Suddenly, rats sit near the top of multiple ecosystems they used to occupy near the bottom. That shift triggers a cascade. Populations of insects, seeds, and small animals explode overnight, because the animal that was controlling those populations just changed roles in the entire system. Forests would be restructured from the ground up within a single generation of these giant rats. Their burrowing, foraging, and nesting behavior at that scale rewrites the landscape completely. Rivers and wetlands would be particularly affected. Rats are excellent swimmers already. 1-meter rats in water systems would outcompete beavers, otters, and every other semi-aquatic mammal alive. Here comes the twist that scientists would find most fascinating of all. Rats at 1 meter would almost certainly develop new social behaviors that we have never documented before. At that size, individual rats become powerful enough to live more independently. But rat intelligence would push them toward larger, more complex social groups, not smaller ones. Picture rat colonies with thousands of members, organized, territorial, and extraordinarily coordinated, with division of labor, designated scouts, food storage systems, and defensive perimeters. Sound familiar? It should, because what rats would build at 1 meter tall looks uncomfortably like early human civilization, minus the technology, plus the teeth, claws, speed, and numbers. Significantly more numbers. Now here's the question that keeps every scientist up at night in this scenario. Could humans and 1 meter rats find a way to coexist? Or is this a winner-takes-all situation? History says coexistence is possible. Humans domesticated wolves into dogs over thousands of years. Could we domesticate 1 meter rats? Could we find a working relationship with something that intelligent and that powerful? Some researchers would absolutely try. Imagine a 1 meter rat trained for search and rescue. Their smell detection alone would revolutionize disaster response, medical diagnosis, and security systems globally. Already, normal-sized rats are used to detect landmines in Africa and tuberculosis in patients. Scale that capability up, and a 1 meter rat becomes one of the most valuable animals on the planet. The country that figures out domestication first gains an extraordinary biological advantage. Giant trained rats with elite senses, problem-solving intelligence, and physical power. That changes geopolitics completely. But domestication takes generations. And in the short term, the first years would be absolute chaos. Cities in crisis, food systems, destabilized ecosystems, restructuring, governments overwhelmed. All simultaneously, the architectural world would be forced to redesign everything from the ground up. Buildings, infrastructure, transportation, food storage, all of it, rebuilt with 1 meter rats as a constant variable. New materials, new designs. Rat-proof architecture becoming the most valuable engineering specialty on Earth. The construction industry transforms overnight into something that has never existed before in human history. Popular culture would be completely unrecognizable within 5 years of the size change. Movies, music, fashion, art, all of it filtered through the lens of sharing a world with giant arts. Some cities would fall. Others would adapt with stunning speed and creativity. The cities that survive would look nothing like the cities we know today, completely reimagined from scratch. Underground human infrastructure would need to move above ground completely. Everything we built below, street-level subways, utilities, data cables, all of it compromised and abandoned. Vertical cities would emerge, humans building upward, while rats dominate everything below. A new boundary between human and rat territory drawn not on a map, but at a specific height above the ground. The most mind-blowing part of this entire scenario is not the danger, it's the mirror. 1 meter rats would show humans exactly what we look like to every other species we have ever displaced. We would finally understand what it feels like to share a planet with something equally intelligent, something equally determined, something that wants the same spaces, the same food, the same future. That realization, that uncomfortable, unavoidable mirror, might be the most important thing this scenario produces. More important than the crisis. More important than the chaos. More important than the survival strategies. Because right now, humans act as if we are the only species whose needs truly matter. 1 meter rats would end that assumption, permanently, loudly, and with excellent teeth. the world would never go back to what it was before. Not completely. Something fundamental about how humans understand their place on this planet would shift and stay shifted forever. So what would you do on day 1 of a world with 1-meter rats? Drop your answer in the comments right now, because this conversation is just getting started. If this blew your mind, share it with someone who thinks they've heard every crazy what if. Like, subscribe, and stay close, because on this channel, the impossible is just the beginning.